The rising success of Visions of Mana is absolutely amazing. I called it months ago when I made my video of why people should be hyped around Visions of Mana, and you should. This game was very fun. I enjoyed the Mana series, and with Visions of Mana finally coming out late of this August, not even a couple weeks ago, it has soared with overall positivity. But that being said, for overall that positive nature, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I'm actually still scratching my head regarding the recent news that came out about the Visions of Mana devs are now thinking about being shut down by Netease. So there's a couple articles I want to talk to you guys about. All these articles are credited to the given sources. The first one we'll look at is IGN. Let's hop on over here. So IGN has posted that the Chinese video game company Netease has reportedly laid off most staff at Visions of Mana developer Ouka Studios, with plans to shut it down altogether. So that right there alone is honestly the craziest statement I've read. They barely got time to truly enjoy their game's launch, and I'm a bit scared to see the overall future of the Mana series overall, with now the remaining dev studio that brought us Visions of Mana. What's going to happen with any of their Mana games? Is Visions of Mana going to be the last Mana game we see? Will anybody make a revival of it? X, Y, and Z. But further, dig a little bit deeper. So they also state that an anonymous sources familiar with the situation told Bloomberg that the studio, which only opened 4 years ago, by the way, will be kept afloat by the few remaining members until its final games have been released. One of those final games was Visions of Mana, which only launched as of yesterday, as this article, which would be August 29th, right? Yes, I am a couple days late with this news. Don't crucify me in the comments. But overall, it did receive great praise. I've been keeping a close eye on it for a bit now, and just seeing how everybody is now enjoying this brand new JRPG, and this is probably their first time playing the Mana games. So overall, this is so shocking to see why. But later in the article, we actually get to see sort of a glimpse of what's going on. Of course, 2024 has been the worst, one of the worst years in gaming history. Almost every single developer, publisher, whatever the case may be, are either getting laid off, complete studios are being shut down, Blue Protocol is going to be, no longer even made anymore, Bandai Namco Online is being shut down. There's so many games that are either being canceled, shut down, studios are leaving, employees are being laid off. We are seeing a surge of layoffs this year. So what it comes to seem is that Bloomberg has reported that Tencent is also reconsidering how much it invests in the Japanese video game industry. Now, as well as the closure was made for Ouka Studios, which would be made by the major Chinese company that is Netease, and they're trying to, and its rival, which is Tencent, they're trying to shift away from a Japan-centric approach, which is awfully crazy to me. You got absolute bangers of JRPGs that are coming out, that are making a renaissance, they are having a surge, and they're outright just not wanting to invest their time into these companies, and it's crazy for me to even sort of think about. So another source came up saying that the success of Black Myth Wukong, which as we know it's definitely going to be a game of the year contender, it sold 10 million copies in 3 days time, and it was made by indie Chinese developer Game Science, which is where it starts to get a bit weird, because it inspired Netease and Tencent to look for investments that are domestic. So they're looking to move away from Japanese developers and try to invest more into Chinese companies, which there's nothing wrong with that. I understand where, but it's just it doesn't make sense of why are we now it's hard to put your full faith in a lot of these companies. Yes, Black Myth Wukong blew up in popularity, but there's a lot of very good developers that are really trying their best in Japan. And just to see, I feel bad for Ouka Studios because I'm like, they didn't even get a chance to even see their game flourish. So Netease told Bloomberg that it had nothing to announce regarding the closure of Ouka Studios. Tencent said it is always making necessary adjustments to reflect market conditions. And I don't know, my touch on that is that it does not make sense. This is probably the weirdest, dumbest thing I've seen in a minute. Like, I see where they're trying to go, but it's just like trying to play devil's advocate. It's very difficult because I'm like, the Japan is soaring right now with the JRPGs. Why not you want to put more time and investments into these Japanese games, especially like Square Enix, where they're no longer want to work on AAA games. They want to start slowing down and making AA games. They want to focus more on smaller stories that give impact instead of spending tens of millions and millions of dollars trying to make this AAA experience that may or may not soar. So, and I feel like a lot of games are having like this live service, like not to mention we just had Concord, the 5v5 shooter that is now being shut down. Like, a lot of developers are trying to focus on the next AAA game other than just giving gamers what they want. They want good games. We don't need every game to be a AAA experience, and if it turns out to be one, then great. No one would have thought in a million years, because Black Myth Wukong's been getting pushed for 4 years now. No one would have thought in a million years that it was going to have it was soar like it did when it released. Like 3 days time now. Yes, Black Myth Wukong is native to China, right? Most of the player base is Chinese, but even still, even on the Western side, there's a lot of people who are enjoying Black Myth Wukong. This game is great. It's a nice Souls-like-ish action RPG in a sense. But let's continue on with the article. The past 2 years have seen countless video game industry layoffs, as big companies including Microsoft, Sony, and an Embracer Group have just not cut jobs but shut down their entire studios altogether. Which, another one which would be Redfall or Arcane Austin, they ended up getting shut down alongside Hi-Fi Rush and Ghostwire Tokyo, which those two are absolutely crazy. That was shut down by Tango Gameworks was shut down as well. These publishers are kind of, I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're trying to have this control and trying to get everything packed and getting everything in order. And in my opinion, it's like, take a different approach with the way we tackle games and studios and stuff of that nature. Games like Hi-Fi Rush and Ghostwire Tokyo are great games in themselves. Yes, they are not your AAA hitter, but they are still great fun games. Like, they offered a new take and a new, perspective on games, and I genuinely enjoyed definitely my time playing Ghostwire Tokyo. I have a review of that entire game on my channel because I loved the way the story and the gameplay was actually very fun. Like, the industry is crumbling, or it's imploding from the inside out. And then of course Embracer Group, they end up shutting down Saints Row, and Saints Row's developers Volition in last year, and Sony shut down their London studio of this year and back in March, and it's affecting nothing but staffs and workers across the board. And it's honestly a very sad time to see. Now, a lot of people did make a couple of comments regarding their thoughts on this, and the Chinese investors, like this guy here, Hey No Way Thinks, says that these Chinese investors are very misled by the success of Wukong, and they might eventually regret placing all their bets in China right now. And you will notice that like China has like the most biggest, they have the biggest massive mobile gaming market that we currently have. So it seems like they're trying to push away from investing their time in great games, and I don't know, it's a weird move to me. Like there's another article, Games Hub, they talked about it as well, so we'll look at theirs. And seems very similar things. I always have to like to get multiple different like angles on a given situation, and everything seems very like similar. Like there's no new information, and honestly, it's crazy to think that these studios, like we're already in September and so many people have lost their jobs in the gaming industry. But though most of those people who have lost their jobs are now looking for different routes, and we could get better minds on the given situation. So I've seen a couple other people, like definitely on Kickstarter, where they used to work for said company, and now guess what? They start their new studio, become an indie studio, and they make great games that the publishers and our other people or other powers at hand was be able to hold them back. But that's pretty much all we got for today's news related art video for Visions of Mana. This is absolutely crazy to still even think about. Can't believe that that's happening. Like, it's crazy. Like, this year is the absolute like worst for all the gaming industries. Like, everybody's getting laid off, and a lot of companies are making poor decisions or hasty decisions. Making it too quick. Like, we have to see and let this game play out. Like, they didn't even get Visions of Mana a chance to like really hit those big numbers, but it probably won't hit big numbers like Black Myth Wukong. Not too many people are a part of the JRPG spectrum, and a lot of people who were seeing Visions of Mana for the first time, that's one of their first times of really delving into a Japanese related game and really going to something that is in the overall depths of that game. So it's crazy. You know, Nintendo had the Direct recently, and they showcased a lot of JRPGs that are being remade or remastered, and we're getting them next year. Of course, we got some greats like Final Fantasy 16, but like, I feel like developers should, or publishers and developers need to work on making, you know, nice, good indie and or AA games, and like save their money. We don't always need a AAA heavy hitter, everything pushing the graphics to the highest that it need to be pushed. Like, yes, that is cool at times, but when every developer is trying their best at trying to make a new AAA this or a new killer this, instead of bringing out original ideas. There's nothing wrong with remakes and remasters. That is great, so that the new generation of gamers can finally play games that they couldn't play or wasn't old enough to play, you know, 20 years ago. So that is cool. That is fine. But we need to step back, make original games. We need to start making the more lower budget games. We don't need to spend $50 million and put every single, swipe the credit card and put every single amount of dollar into this video game. Like, no, take your time, get some nice voice actors, make a good game, make the combat fun, make the graphics, different, timeless. You want this game to be able to soar for years and years to come. So that was my thoughts on it. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Visions of Mana. If you already played it, let me know. What do you guys think about Ouka Studio being shut down, or what are your thoughts on Netease and Tencent and that entire situation? If you guys are mobile fans, mobile gaming fans, then I would definitely like to hear your thoughts on it, because this is absolutely crazy, and I did not expect to hear about Visions of Mana having their entire studio just ripped from right on them, and the game's only been out for not even a couple of days now. So let me know what you comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you want more RPG related news, gameplay, reviews, and previews. And as well as, if you like today's episode, definitely like the video, helps out a lot. But as always, stay safe out there, and it's been your host, Chaotic TV, here at Chaotic Inc., signing out. Peace.